So, welcome to Saint-Tropez. This
you.
is obviously not the first time you've been here. Tell me when you were here the first time.
For the very first Antipodean festival, which I'm told is 15 years ago.
What was it like?
It was empty. Not many people had picked up on what was going on. They wanted to show The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, which was the second film I made, and they couldn't get a print of it anywhere, so instead they showed 6 Degrees of Separation, which was a bit cheating, but but it's definitely grown and getting far more appreciated, which is great.
You're head of the jury. What's the kind of feeling this year?
And they've been good so far. You know, they're the least thing you can say is that they've all been challenging and different and interesting.
Do you think it's important to have these type of festivals where we're celebrating Australian cinema or Antipodean cinema outside of Australia? What does that add to our cinema industry?
No, I think that's a great idea. It was done in various ways before. The Australian government used to, I think in conjunction with Chambers of Commerce, would hold a week of films and get filmmakers over, because from their point of view, suddenly people stopped thinking that our streets were full of kangaroos and that perhaps we were maybe slightly more sophisticated society than they thought. But it actually made selling and getting Australian products known and out into the marketplace easier. From the other point of view of getting our films out there, that's a great idea.
As a filmmaker, what's the importance of these type of festivals for the filmmaker themselves?
I love festivals because you meet other filmmakers that you don't necessarily see on a regular basis, and you can trade war stories, and you kind of support one another, and I think that's fantastic. And they're contacts that, once you've been in this relaxed kind of environment, that lasts.
I think what's nice for the Australian filmmakers here often is that they get to hang out with the distributors that would never have time to at a festival like Cannes Film Festival.
And you spend a week watching very interesting, very engaging, very challenging movies, and you are refreshed by that.
You have a film that's closing the festival.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
How about that? It's Juliette Binoche and Clive Owen, and just got on Leonard Maltin's list of the best films of the year.
Good morning. I would like to introduce our new teacher,
Ms. Del Santo.
What do you teach?
Art honors.
Hence the scarf.
And you?
Honors English.
Hence the hence.
They say she caned a student.
No, it was a teacher. We're going to be involved solely with the study of fine art, whatever that means. The trouble is in the words. The words are lies. The words are traps.
If words are lies, then what's the truth? A picture? Here's a word for you. Arrogance.
And here's a picture.
This is war.
War! Et quand revient l'été à Saint-Tropez, tous les garçons sont beaux à Saint-Tropez. Toutes les filles sont belles, belles à croquer, au rendez-vous d'amour de Saint-Tropez.
Pour moi, le cinéma australien et néo-zélandais, c'est un peu le berceau ce qui fera le cinéma, les grands cinéastes de demain, parce qu'on verra que ce soit Baz Luhrmann, Fred Skipsey, tout le cinéma, et même les acteurs en fait, c'est le vivier de tous les acteurs qu'on retrouve à Hollywood. On a Hugo Weaving, Russell Crowe, Nicole Kidman, Mel Gibson, qui sont tous des acteurs en fait australiens ou néo-zélandais, mais on l'oublie ça. Et c'est là où on se dit quand même, il doit avoir une formation et une école incroyable, parce qu'ils ont une énergie et puis ils se permettent plein de folie dans leur univers. Il y a une grande créativité, c'est génial.
Ouais, qu'est-ce que vous aimez dans le cinéma australien?
C'est qu'il est audacieux. Il est audacieux, et puis il y a vraiment une imagination et une créativité incroyable. Et puis une belle énergie, vraiment.
Moi j'aime parce que c'est un cinéma dynamique qui est percutant. Je trouve qu'il y a, voilà, comme je vous disais au début, de l'originalité et c'est enthousiasmant. Voilà. Ce qui compte, c'est l'émotion. Et donc là, il y a beaucoup d'émotions et moi, ça m'emballe beaucoup. Et je trouve que le cinéma est une palette, une ouverture sur le monde. Moi, j'ai besoin d'être touchée avant tout. Et après, on débat, on est plusieurs et donc on doit chacun donner nos arguments et on doit faire en sorte que l'on attribue un prix pour un film, pour un acteur. Voilà. Mais moi, l'émotion est très importante pour moi.
Having an emotional engagement with people is what is the reason I want to be a storyteller and a filmmaker. And I think a lot of the things I'm doing are particularly female-focused stories, and that's not to say that they're all about women, but a lot of them have either female protagonists or I'm working with female directors and writers as well. So for me, it's about, I think there's a really strong audience for that kind of content, and I don't think we make enough in the world.
Being outside of Australia, what type of perspective has that given you on your film and Australian cinema?
I'm surprised actually how many people outside of Australia are aware of what we do. And I think when you're working on producing content, you're forever focused on what you're doing and you don't realise necessarily how the world might see it. So it's given me an opportunity to see that there are other people in the world who are going to see this story, and not necessarily just My Mistress, but the other films I'm working on. And to try to think of them how international audiences will see them, I think is a really important thing as a filmmaker. So it's been quite an eye-opening experience to recently see how the world is seeing this film. It's a story of a 16-year-old boy's love affair with a 40-year-old French S&M mistress who moves into his neighbourhood. So it's I guess, an unusual coming-of-age love story.
I look forward to seeing it tonight.
I'll do whatever you say. Whatever you command me to do, that's what I want. Whatever you want.
Qui?
Yes. Thank you.
So what do we do now?
Everything.
Canopy is my first feature film. It's a film that's about two young soldiers who meet during the course of one night in Singapore during the Second World War. And it's really a film about the connection between two different soldiers from different backgrounds and the two of them relying on each other to survive as day turns into night.
What was the inspiration for this film?
It's really a collection of stories, fragments of stories that I heard from different soldiers who were serving during Second World War.
Do you have family members in war? Is that what inspired you?
Yeah, my grandfather's brothers were in war, particularly in the Pacific, and I grew up with these stories, and also grew up in a small country town where you're acutely aware of the legacy of the war experience. It left quite an impression on me.
Is it about relationships, or what drives you to make stories about people?
I think for me, I'm very interested in connection between people, yes, from different backgrounds, because Australia, we don't live in isolation. We live in a multicultural country and a region where people are from different backgrounds. So I'm interested in how we connect with different people within our region.
Why this story today?
I think it might be set 70 years ago, but it's very relevant to people today. I mean, war's universal, the experience of war. People are constantly being sent off to war in different situations, and people are constantly coming back affected.
Your first time at the festival, tell me a little bit about how the ambience has been.
It's in a beautiful location for starters, but also it's a mix of audiences from all over France. audiences that you wouldn't normally have the chance of screening the film to. So to be able to come here and meet the audience is very important for me. This is why you make films. You travel around the world to show different audiences your film in the hope that they connect with it the same way you do.
Félicitations, parce que là, on a la 16e rencontre.
Merci beaucoup. Oui, ça fait maintenant 16 ans et j'espère que ça va durer encore longtemps. Il y a tellement de bons films australiens à partager, de bons films néo-zélandais à partager et à diffuser en France que j'espère bien pouvoir encore revenir et vous abreuver du cinéma des Antipodes. Trouver Fred Skipsey après 15 ans est aussi un de ces moments un peu magiques. Et c'est vrai que c'est un des réalisateurs australiens fondateurs et qu'il ait accepté de venir à Saint-Tropez 15 ans après, voilà, c'est quelque chose qui fait chaud au cœur. On partage et qu'on soit un petit peu à la mode australienne, ouvert, en allant vers les autres, culture, de trouver des choses nouvelles qui vont nous nourrir et qui vont nous permettre de changer, d'évoluer, d'avoir un autre regard. Peut-être un film va naître à Saint-Tropez grâce à ces rencontres qui sont pas seulement lors des séances de cinéma, mais au bord de la mer, voire dans l'eau, et qui peut-être nous permettront d'avoir dans 1 ou 2 ans un film australien tourné à Saint-Tropez.